Hey, this is Matt once again. What about in the video? Another paid request, this time for Vlad. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, reviews, topics, re-reviews, I'm fine with talking about a movie again. No issues with me with that. Comparisons, commentaries, whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box under the video, under each of these videos. But this is for the film Hellraiser Inferno, which is Hellraiser 5. Now, long story short, I like the first Hellraiser. Hellbound Hellraiser 2 is my favorite. I can enjoy Hellraiser 3. Hellraiser 4 has some interesting parts to it, but there's a lot of behind-the-scenes shenanigans going on, whether likely because of the Weinsteins, among others. And then the movie started going direct to video. Started with this, and this is far from the worst Hellraiser film. I'm still not big on it, but I'm not hating on it because there's a lot worse movies out there. There's a lot worse horror sequels out there. And trust me, there's a lot worse Hellraiser movies out there. The next couple, especially Hellraiser Revelations, which is the worst. And of course, you know, there's the new Hellraiser coming out where, I don't know, Pinhead has a vag or is trans or I don't know what the hell he is. I don't care. Because I don't think we need, at this point now, 11 fucking Hellraiser movies. It'll be the 11th one. How many more do you need? We're at 11 now. Shit. I think the well is dry. You just say it was dry after part 3. Now, this is directed by Scott Derrickson. This is the guy who did Doctor Strange later on, which I liked. He did... what was it? Sinister. The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which I remember not minding. Deliver Us from Evil with Eric Bana, which I did quite enjoy. He did that new one, The Black Phone, which I liked. Pretty decent director. I hear different reports. Doug Bradley, who plays Pinhead, says this was never meant to be a Hellraiser film. This is another script, and they just changed it to Hellraiser last minute. Scott Derrickson, who directed it, and him and another guy wrote it, he says no, that's not the case. He was doing something and he was waiting for another movie to hopefully do that. At one point, hey, what should we do with a Hellraiser movie? Oh, what about this? And we'll keep Pinhead in the background, because if you think about it, the first two Hellraiser films, he's in the background as well. Now, not as much as this film, but he is the only one he was really the star was Hellraiser 3. Which is one of the things I liked about Hellraiser 3. But he did talk a bit too much. There were times you're like, Pinhead, shut up. And Hell on Earth. But I do like that one. This one stars Craig Sheffer, which is interesting because he was in another film related to Clive Barker, which is Nightbreed. He plays a detective, a cop, who is a dirty cop. He has a wife and a kid, but he cheats on his wife with a hooker. He's willing to do drugs. He's at a crime scene. He tells about, oh yeah, this guy, back to the day, I know him, he was a classmate, we used to bully him. He's not that nice of a dude. In this crime scene, he finds this puzzle box. After enjoying his hooker for the night, he messes with the box, because I guess he likes puzzles. It opens up. He gets knocked out. He wakes up, and strange things start happening. Craig Sheffer starts seeing visions. He starts seeing... there's maybe 3 Cenobites. These 2 female ones, and one with no legs. And again, stranger things starts happening. He's trying to talk to his partner, played by Nick Turturro from NYPD Blue. People around him start dying, and these fingers of a little kid are left behind at each crime scene. Whether it be like the hooker he was with, she's dead, or this informant he had, he's dead. And apparently it leads to this figure, this faceless figure called the Engineer. And that all the fingers look like the kid's alive, so gotta try to find this kid. And like I said, more people around him start dying, and you start trying to figure out what is truly going on. Before I get more into spoilers, again, this is not the worst, and it's not the best. I'm very meh and different on it. That's why I say I'm not really a big fan of the film. I don't think Trey Sheffer does a bad job. I really don't. Some people may disagree. I think he's trying. I think he's a decent actor. I think he handles the material as best as he can for what it is. Nick Turturro I don't mind. James Remar, who is the bad guy in 48 Hours, he's there as a chaplain, like a religious therapist. It's nice to see James Remar play something a bit different, because usually he's like a vicious guy, like, again, 48 Hours, or he's a badass, like The Warriors, Walter Hill's film. Well, he was a good guy in Mortal Kombat Annihilation, because he played Raiden. But it's one of those things where, number one, it's predictable. If you've seen enough of these movies, you know where it's going. And you're just waiting for the needle to drop. And it's trying to be a bit more of a psychological horror film. And when the Cenobites do happen, the makeup, like the two females, is decent makeup. You have this bit where they're kind of fondling Craig Sheffer, but their hands are going into his flesh and out of his flesh. But at the same time, as you're watching it, like I said, there's a sense of you're following an unlikable character that, because he's the type of guy that during this crime scene with this hooker he was with that's dead, the partner says, "I'll back you up," but then Craig Sheffer takes like cigarettes and a pen and puts him in the room to blackmail him if he does fuck him over. So you follow this detective who you don't like, so you don't really care truly what happens to him. You don't care about the grief, the psychological torture. You just go, okay, this guy's a douchebag, fine. That's the thing, you don't feel more of a big connection to it. And then there's some really goofy scenes that just don't work. I have to go into spoilers, because I don't know how else to word it. What you find out is at the end, because, like I said, people around him are dying. He goes see his parents, and you get the idea he's neglected his parents, and then they disappear, and more than likely are dead. Well, they are dead. At least in the, well, I'll get to that. Then his partner, he listens to a telescope, the Turturro, he gets killed, stabbed in the back. He finds his wife and daughter, they're dead. They're on the pillar, like the Cenobite type of pillar, and they're kind of frozen. Which just makes me think of Christopher Lloyd. I was frozen today. And James Remar changes, and he's Pinhead. And Pinhead's in the film for like 5 minutes. So when you think about back to the days, the year 2000 this came out, the year 2000, you're at the video store, you've seen the other Hellraiser films. Even though, Pinhead's not in wall-to-wall of Hellraiser 1 and 2, he's really not, you still see Pinhead, you see the cover. The last film you maybe remember is, I don't know, Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth or something. He's in that film a lot. Even Hellraiser Inferno, Hellraiser 4. Hellraiser Bloodline, he's in a decent amount compared to others. He's on the cover right there. You watch it. Where is he? Where is he? What's going on? Okay, there's a Cenobite. What's going on? What? Oh, I saw him for like 2 seconds. What? It's the last 5 minutes. What? So it's going to leave people with a foul taste in their mouths. They just don't realize that it's going to get even more stank when you see the later 6, 7, 8, 9, all that shit. Especially in a movie that has goofy stuff. Like, there's literally a scene where Craig Sheffer goes to a bar, and there's, of course, your cowboys. He's looking for information. When he leaves, he's in the woods, and ninja cowboys kick his ass. As in cowboys who do martial arts and kick the shit out of him. Would you ever think of a Hellraiser movie with martial art cowboys? Cowboy baby. Fucking Shanghai Noon over here. Would you ever think of that for a Hellraiser movie? And that's a scene that sticks out like a sore thumb. It's goofy, it's silly. I don't know if it's meant to be... It's action, or try and be, I don't know, is a Twin Peaks bit of quirkiness? Because lo and behold, you find out most of this is in the whole movie. Pretty much most of the movie is in Craig Sheffer's mind. I'm assuming earlier on when he opened up that box, he died. You know, just like Hellraiser 1, when Frank opened up the box, the chains, he opened the box in that bathroom, the chains, boom. That would have been before the hooker died. It would have been just... when they found that one guy dead, and he probably died because he opened up the box too. And then Craig Sheffer found the box and then opened it up. And from then on, it's Jacob's Ladder. It's like Jacob's Ladder and Angel Heart. Because Angel was about a detective, and you have the twist, and Welcome to Hell. So it's like, and Jacob's Ladder, well, I won't spoil that. Well, I guess I already did, but you should go see Jacob's Ladder from 1990, that one, not the remake. And that's what it is. It's Jacob's Ladder, but not done nearly as well. Not nearly as well as Jacob's Ladder, with dashings of Angel Heart in it. And both of those are better. You could watch those movies instead of this. And so it just screams of a comparison, and this film's inferior to them. So Scott Derrickson did his own Jacob's Ladder, his own Angel Heart, with a dash of Pinhead. And how you feel about that is how you feel about the movie. I mean, to give credit where credit's due, Scott Derrickson has a couple interesting shots. Like in a hospital sequence where Craig Sheffer is groggy, and it's another shot where the hallway looks like it's got a lot longer. There's a finale where he sees all his sort of demons coming at him, like the victims, Nick Turturro and the hooker and others, this informant. He's shotgunning them. When he opens up a door, there's a silhouette of him at the door, and the rest of it's like pitch black. That's a decent shot. For a direct-to-video film, that's a decent shot. I get what they're trying to do, where the little kid he's searching for represents his innocence. That's why it's being mutilated, his spirit. And the engineer is the evil part of him that wants to tear apart his life. Now, granted, there's a part of me that's like, okay, he's an asshole, but does he deserve lifetime evil damnation? I mean, he's a dick. Don't get me wrong, he's a dick. I mean, he does drugs, and he neglects his parents, and he cheats on his wife. So, yeah, you do that. Because what I understand, Scott Derrickson's very religious. So, I guess in those eyes, yes, you deserve evil damnation in Scott Derrickson's eyes. But, like, if you found out, like, if there's a bit more of a build-up of him in the real world, showing how much of a piece of shit he is, because it feels like we're in the real world for it felt like less than 10 minutes, and then that's when things start happening. And, I don't know. But I guess it's like throughout it, other actions he does, oh yeah, this guy's pretty shitty. But I don't think he murdered anyone. Like, murdered, raped, like something really so gun-ho, yeah, yep, he deserves it, fuck him. So I don't know how to, I don't know how else to word that. And that's the thing, it got to the point where Pinhead would just appear and just give these speeches that just were not nearly as satisfying as in the first two movies, and it just felt like he was just repeating similar stuff that he said in the first two movies. And it's like, okay, Pinhead's not really doing anything, and that's that's the thing though. Pinhead was never a Jason, was never a Michael Myers, so he's not that type of horror villain where in Hellraiser 2 he was trying to be a bit active, and then he got killed by the newer Cenobite, the doc, throat slashed. Then Hellraiser 3, Pinhead just went apeshit. Again, one of the reasons I do like the film. But that's why it really did feel, when you got to Deader and Hellseeker, and maybe less so Hellseeker, but Deader and Hellworld, you got to some of those movies, it did feel this was a different movie. Oh shit. Turn to a Hellraiser movie, put Pinhead in there for 5 minutes and sell it. And I think there were people that felt duped. And I don't blame them. Like I said, I know Pinhead's not wall-to-wall, but they still feel like Hellraiser movies. That's the thing, for the most part, it doesn't feel, maybe 10% of the movie feels like a Hellraiser movie. I mean, I don't know how else to word it. It just, by the end, this is the hell you created for yourself, as Pinhead says, and our character's doomed to repeat it over and over again. I'm sitting there going, yeah, it is really like Angel Heart and Jacob's Ladder put together. And I think Trey Sheffer does a pretty decent enough job. I don't think he's bad in the role. Nick Turturro does fine. I liked him. I mean, you barely get to know his wife. You barely get to know his kid. It's barely about this investigation, which at the end of the day becomes pointless because it just, him being led around to each of these vision crime scenes, and at the end of the day it doesn't matter because we all, if you've seen the film, you know where it's all going. I'm just going around in circles. Don't know why you had those ninja cowboys. So there's some decent makeup effects. The acting, compared to the next couple of movies, the acting's not that bad. It depends how you feel. If you want to see another Angel Heart, Jacob's Ladder type of movie, here you go. If not, it's very loosely a Hellraiser movie, and it just, I don't know. Just not something I rewatch a lot. Really isn't. Doesn't have the striking musical score like the first two Hellraiser films, or even the fun Motorhead like type of Hellraiser 3. But you look at you listen to the story of Hellraiser 1 and 2, you really get that feeling, and Hellraiser with how weird, and the man with no flesh, and give me more victims, and Frank, and just the gruesome nastiness of it all, and Hellbound, Hellraiser 2 with the whole underworld, the labyrinth, and I loved the look of that, and of course you have Kirsty in both movies, so there's this bit of more of a continuity. This, like I said, it's like every 30 minutes, oh shit. No, like every 15 minutes, give us a scene, oh shit, it's Hellraiser, and then go back to our regularly scheduled detective program. It's cool to have a detective as point of view, but I don't know. I don't know. Just wasn't big on it. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.